So, yeah, let's get back to another wrap up on the reminder fee functionality. But like what we heard before has been like more like how the project went, how the collaboration went, and now we're having a look how it actually works, at least a bit, and what it looks like. So another introduction of myself. So my name is Nina. I'm working for hebis Library Network. I'm there like in the headquarters and responsible for like supporting the libraries during the folio migration, especially when it comes to resource access, circulation, and yeah, that. Is someone else not muted? I'm not sure. Okay, so let's just since it's just a short session, we're just having a short wrap up of why and what this actually is, why we need that, and what it looks like, and how it works, and yeah, how to go further with this one. And so for those maybe not that long in the project, so this has been ongoing for years and years. And in 2021, hebis decided to migrate to FOIO, but actually, I think this gap that reminder fees were like, let's say, missing. This also has been present, I mean, to German libraries in general, right before that. So, but then we started to collect the requirements. In hebis, we then, after this step to decide to migrate to FOIO, there was the establishment of like working groups on management side, on organizational side, and in the libraries, and also for subject matters, we're calling them like working groups. There are some for acquisition, for electronic resource management, for reporting, and of course also for circulation. And these subject matter experts, they consisted of people from the libraries, so they are like really the people which need to work with it at the end. So they started this gap analysis to compare like what can FOIO done right now, what is actually needed, what is still missing, and yeah, turns.
Du kannst nicht die Präsentation, sondern
Oh, it doesn't work in Zoom.
wow, see the PowerPoint.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I got the wrong. Maybe I think I am I sharing the wrong screen?
Yes.
Oh, I'm really sorry for that. Oh God.
Then a minute.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. So maybe should, huh? Bildschirm? Was? Ach, und einfach ein Bildschirm freigeben. Jetzt. Und jetzt, oh, really, I'm so sorry for that.
I think there was a question too.
Yeah. It's a question.
Hard to understand.
Do we collect the question in chat? I don't know. Yeah.
I'll just ask you.
Okay. So I'm not sure if it was because of not if you wanted to say that the screen is not. Okay. So do you want me to go on? Or do I? Okay. So turns out pretty fast that what is already in FOIO, the overdue file, is not really working for us for the reminder fees. And so this is yeah, it's a financial thing that this is really necessary for a go live, and there has been like no workaround for the hebis library, and also this is a functionality which a German library is needed. So to for all to understand it, so this is what the overdue fines and FOLIO look like how they work. So it's just the calculation of the fees, the amount of the fees, like happens in the background according to the interval which is in the settings app in the overdue, in the policy for the overdue fines. So, and just when the patron returns the item, then like it shows up how high the amount actually really is of the overdue fines, and then like email notice is sent. But in hebis we have, like, because of legal requirements, we're having another, like, we need to have another structure of the fees. So it says that we need to have the patron like noticed and like the patron knows about the fees, the fine between the different intervals or like the levels of the reminders. And so we need to have the fees and fines in the patron account actually in between, not just at the end when the patron returns it, but in between. So, and usually it also is sent an email and, or let's say print notice each time a reminder fee is built to a patron account. And usually you can see in the third usually is the printed one, because we need to have this, like, some legal information sent to the patron. So just a short wrap up how we actually started. It has been like the requirements are collected for years and by the whole FOLIO community. So this is just the really famous like UX Pro 2015. That's the first one I learned when I joined the project, which is so famous. So and yeah, so just, I'm not saying a lot to the development process right here, but just that, like, we had to structure the development in 2 releases because it was just it was a lot of tickets to do, like you said, as you all just saw. So the first one, the first development's been released with Poppy. It's just like the basis. So it's the reminder process running in the background. For us, usually it's in the night. This can be configured. And the basic changes like new fee fine type, which was needed for that, and changes in the UI to administer the reminder run, like how high is the fee, when should it come, when should it be built, and the preparations for the print reminders, which then has been released with the Quesnelia release, with a completely new backend module, because it was new to FOLIO to store this to store notices, which then in the end can be printed in batch, and like more detailed settings, like some of our libraries, they block items from renewals if they have a reminder fee on it, some don't. So we needed that one because FOLIO is default, like you can renew all of the items. And some other things like adapting the reminder, which is already like, let's say, planned when the item is checked out. So the reminder is planned on that day, and when there comes a change in between, for example, because of a renewal, which is just so usual, or a recall, then of course this date also needs to be adapted. Then this has been all released with Quesnelia. So this is just, let's have a short look, first of all, on how it looks. So I'm not a developer, so don't pin me on that. So the reminder process in the night uses the Okapi timer process. This already has been in place, and it uses this. So there's a link to it. This is just a short code snippet from Quesnelia Bugfest, and it says, depending on the time zone, the reminder one happens 1 once a night, like right after midnight. This is always also how we do it. And yeah, this is actually what probably the biggest part of this like development looks. And I just want to have a short, let's have a short look on the outcome, like what does this code snippet actually do? So I'm just hope this works. I'm not sure, but you're not seeing that? I thought when I shared the, okay, actually you were supposed to saw the, oh.
It's not sharing in Slack, so that's okay.
Yeah, I wanted to jump from the presentation to a test system, but probably that went wrong.
You have to escape the presentation mode.
Yeah. Oh, okay, maybe. Do I switch that one? No. Okay. Is this visible in the Zoom meeting?
Not yet, no. Gotta share.
Gonna share again. Oh.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so I don't want to waste too much time on that. I'm sorry. So, yeah. So, first of all, what I would like to show is like we got a patron, which has like really high amount of fee fines, of reminder fees, of course. So, even already has blocks in place. So, let's have a look. So there are 6 open loans, which are like really overdue. And as you can see right here, so I mean, what I said, this is an overnight process, so I cannot really do a demo right now of how it works at the end, but just what is the outcome of it. So, for example, this right here, it has been due since 18th of September. And there already have been like the 3 reminder fees built. So you can see that you saw that already at the front and on the loan, and then write more details on the loan details. There's like here is the reminder fees and the amount of it, and also in the actions. So right here there's been a due date change, so the reminders also have been adapted, and then like the first, the second, and the third. Yeah. And what this actually looks in the circ log. So this is also what I actually really like because it is really clear to see. Let's just have a short that was like somewhere from the last weeks. That might not be from that one patronat now, but there are other fees and fines. So like a lot of them, even some already paid. So here you can see at the end in the description, there always is the fee fine, the type, the reminder fee, and also right here, which level of the reminder it is and the amount of it, like when it was built to the patron, and when notice has been sent. So this actually gives a really good overview, and with the timestamps and everything, it really is good for stuff to see, and like if there is like discussions around it, this is good. So another thing which I mentioned, and I think which is good to see, is the printed reminders. As I said, usually it is done for the 3rd reminder, for example, and those which have been developed, they are accessible in the users app. And there is a new action for this. This is the view patron notice print shops, which then shows a list of the print shops created in the night, as you can see right here, and listed by date. And once you actually want to see one of them, so it opens the PDFs with this. Now this is like this kind of layout for the letters which libraries then send. This is just test system, so it's not really like that real. But usually there are like for all the print reminders, there is one PDF. Right now it is just for like one page for one item, but we are hoping to get this bundled anytime soon. Yeah, and this also has been like this is what this reminder one during the night does. So and I'm just staying right here. I'm not doing any. Okay, we just keep that view. So this is just a short overview. And so as I said, yeah, we didn't, I mean, there are still some requirements which have been developed because for our, let's say, to get it through in the Q release, we had a strict time frame and we had to prioritize which is the, like, what do we actually absolutely need for a go live for our hebis libraries, for the German libraries. So there is still some things which can be done in the future and to enhance, like, for example, right now, what we don't have is like the blocking of a patron because of a level of reach reminders, or for example, like the consideration of like grace periods and or let's say what also I know is important to some German libraries to bill a reminder fee to a patron without sending a notice. This is also which can be done, but the opposite is working. So you can actually bill 0 reminder fee just to, it's like a friendly reminder, but send a notice to the patron. This is possible. And, or for example, I think the colleagues of GBV, they did some really intense testing and found out that there is actually just, it sends way too less reminders with one job. So we needed to adjust and work around with like several jobs. But for the future, we hope that we get out more reminders with one job. So, and this all we are collecting right now for the in the UX part for the 4003. So to hopefully get some more development and enhancement to this functionality in the future. And yeah, I think that's just a short wrap up to show you what the reminder feed does. Thank you. Sorry for all this inconvenience around technology. So, okay, so we have some questions in the chat.
Oh, really? No.
Because we have this
Just some discussion about muting and unmuting and other things.
So one question about the reminders. If the system sends an email with a reminder, it's I want the PDF is for one item per item.
Yeah.
And the email puts it together or not?
No, it's the same
one
because
email per item.
yeah, it also sends one email for one item right now because the bundling depends on the fee find type. And since the reminder fee is a really new fee find type, it hasn't been done yet. But once this can be done, it will be bundled in the emails and in the print jobs. Yeah.
That's the to do this. Okay.
That's, for example, this is also one for this ticket. It would be in. Yeah.
Are you charging a flat fee?
I'm sorry.
Are you charging a flat fee for each item?
At hebis, yes, because this is also in the like this. Actually, it is in the law. Actually, it says that for the first and the second reminder, we are charging €3 for each item, And the last one, so the third, would be €6. So all in all, for one item, would be like €12, the highest. But usually it's not like in the test system, it's one after another day. So usually it's the first reminder, let's say the day after due date, and then there is usually I think it's 2-week gap. So there is still this €3, and if the patron returns the item in this time, so it stays the €3, but then if he or she doesn't, then after these 2 weeks, there is the second reminder. So there's still a little grace. Yes.
You mentioned the law. Is this a German law?
This especially this steps, and this is just a state, so it's different. This for the state hasn't.
Oh,
Yeah.
Many of our states that we
Yeah.
That you have to bill for being late.
Yes.
The law is you have to bill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
It's different. Yes, no.
Where does the money go?
To the state.
Just.
And
Yes.
there is even, different from the other states, you don't have to, you pay for each book, you pay a fee for all the books, you know,
Every due date.
every Tuesday,
Yeah.
it's called pauschal. Like, I pay for all the books.
Magst du schon?
One-
Schon mal umstupsen, aber nicht. Willst du Stöpfen oder nur ein Lapp? Willst du nur ein Lapp? Achso, Stöpfen? Also willst du nur ein Stick und Stöpfen nehmen?
Yeah.
In university law.
Ja. Wie du das? Du kannst auch hier.
I guess.
Yeah.
It's 750, and then it gets crazy. But
Ja.
you take one book on one day and then a second book on another day, you miss the due date, then
Soll ich dann
40
den
euros
nehmen?
plus 2 days.
Ja, gerne. Ich muss nur schnell gucken, dass ich hier.
Since this week type is new, and if you replaced it with a regulation rule, would any things that are checked out without P type and then it was replaced, would it trigger this change? So I'm just trying to think about like things that are already live. And if they wanted to take advantage of some of these
Yeah.
features, or would it only apply to new?
Yeah.
With the business logic, every time it pings, it looks for changes, so I just.
Yeah, I mean, in usual, and for you, it is general usually that just it changes after you change everything which you like check out after the change, then it will be adapted to this. So everything before will not. But the reminder fees, so as I said, no, maybe I don't know if I mentioned here, in the this is covered in the overdue fine policies.
Yeah.
So this is in the, when you write the circular, the circ rules, this is actually already in the O part. So it's
Right. So if I already have an item checked out and a staff person changed the overdue fee fines and when I'm overdue, it would pick up that new overdue
No,
fee
well,
fine.
it would pick up the new rule if you return it and then check it out again. So just if it's checked out and then you change it, it will not work. It takes the old rule, let's say.
Okay,
Yeah, but if
that's
you,
not normally.
That- but
how
because-
the circuit would work, it's normally every time.
yeah, I mean, that's generally for you like that. Also, it's not just the overdue fine policy, it's also the ZERP rules, for example, like the ZERP, the loan policy. If you change it after the item is checked out, it will not work. I'm sorry if we probably. I'm sorry if I didn't, maybe we can talk later about that.
In the fine, in the policy. Can I put a calendar there to have the, or it's
For the opening,
like
the
now,
closing.
when I take this,
Yeah.
Or I have only daily or weekly or monthly or like or can I pick it free?
The calendar.
The schedule when I run this.
Okay, so I think this can be configured if it runs every night or not. That's it. I'm not sure. This needs to be seen from a developer perspective.
We do it the first after 3 days and the second after 10 days, and then
Yeah,
there's not
this you can, yeah, for sure. That you can configure that in the settings where you will find like the administration for that.
I can use the free calendar.
Oh, this. Yeah, I mean, when this is done in the settings, but not in the calendar section. But if I mean, it works with the calendar together because it's just, for example, it just builds and sends on opening days. And so the counting, it works together with the calendar. I'm not sure if that answers your question directly. I'm really sorry. But we can have a look at that. Anytime. Okay, so if there are any other questions, then I think
Well,
my time
still preparing.
Thank you. Can you give me that?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm still, no, don't save that one. So. I'll be there in a minute. Okay. So here we go. This second part is about the connection to the ZFL server, which is what we use for routing ZFL requests. So it's called ZFL server. It's a piece of software by OCLC. Stands for Central Interlibrary Loan Server. That's the one that does the routing for all ILL requests. And what we needed was, on the one hand, a connection from Folio to the ZFL server, and that needs to speak SLNP, which is a very special language. And on the other side, we needed to be able to manage ILL requests in Folio. And that is a project we did together with Index Data. They built a SLNP gateway to talk to the ZFL server, and they also kind of transported ReShare modules to Folio. In the beginning, we always talked about lending and borrowing libraries, but that was quite confusing for our German-speaking part of the development team or of the ILL team, because in German, lending can be both. So it was always, what are you talking about? So now we call it supplying and requesting library, which is much more clearer, I think. So I prepared a example, but I have to say this is a kind of development environment, testing environment. There's a lot of things that don't work the way you would think they do. One of those is I can't change the service point the way it normally is in Folio. And that's what I have to do now, because as default, I'm at no service point, but as ILL, I need to have a service point. So I have to go here And you will see there is a, oh, no way. So you will see there is a main service point, but it just does not work. So just bear with me for 1 second, because I have to do that again to get the right one. Sorry, I couldn't do that in advance. But we are just now building up testing systems in Bavaria for the Technical University of Munich. And where am I? SLNP 1. Gotta take the right one. Oh, okay. So save and close. Okay. So here we are. And now I have the right one. So we are building up a test environment for the Technical University of Munich. And because for ILL you always need 2 libraries. The other one is the University Library of Bayreuth. And this is also part of a demonstration we're doing there next week in Bamberg. There's a folio presentation, folio days in Germany, and we're doing that there. So this is just a kind of excerpt of that presentation. I have prepared some requests. Our requests always come via the ZFL server, and that's kind of way they look like. If I click on that thing, I get all the information that ZFL server has sent me. I am here in the supplying library. And of course, the module is the ILL supply. I have a request. The system has already identified the item that needs to be shipped to the requesting library. Normally, I would go to my requests app and just print out all the pick slips or the pull slips, whatever you call them, for all my requests, and take the ILL requests and transport them to the ILL station or service station. I'll skip that one, because that's normal folio functionality, a request that is being printed and filled. I have here the item barcode. It's my own item. I have the barcode available. I'll just copy that. And here I have a function, scan item barcode to fill and mark it shipped. If this is what I do, oh, wait a moment. This is the 71. I have, this is the ZFL server in all its beauty. And I have, this is the request. And this is, it's only in German. There's no English, interface for that. It's just a request has been placed and nobody has responded to it yet. So I am logged in as B998, and the requesting library is B999. That's very close and a nice source of confusion for all of us testing, but that's the way my colleagues set it up. So we just go back to the supplying library and I scan my barcode. So here we go. Successfully filled and shipped. Now I can pack that thing up and either hand it over to DHL or to some other we call it Bücherauto. You have transport buses that are only there to transport books from one library to another. And when I go to the ZFL server and I update it, then I have another entry, and now it says the book has been shipped by the supplying library B998. And it just needs to arrive in the requesting library, which is SLNP2. The supplying library is SLNP1. But it's not worse than B999 and B998. It's equal, but never mind. We were glad to be able to test this, and index data could immediately correct any bugs we found and any quirks there were. So that was great, and we're quite thankful for that. So this is the ILL requests. I can just click on all my requests and look at them, but I can, of course, just search for one of the other. As a standard, all completed requests are hidden. If I unclick that, you see there are a couple more that have already been filled. So this is the 7.1. I could just call it up by identifying the ILL number, the ILL number. And I have here the status changed to shipped. That means the supplying library has shipped the book, the item, and I'm waiting for it to be here. I have also the item barcode of the supplying library, if I go into this. And I have the original call number. This is very important for us because the call number is always on the book and it helps identifying. When the book arrives, I will scan the request ID. The books normally arrive with a pig slip in it, and they have the request IDs in barcode printed on it, so I can just scan it in. I don't have that here, so I'll just 20. So I'll just do it that way. So, okay, returned. This is the wrong one. How come? Oh, no, that's wonderful. So I have marked it received. The next step would be to give it back, but don't do that now because now it's in my local circulation and my local patron can check it out now. There's a, depends on your setting. I don't have a service point here. So I have to change that as well. Yeah, we're running a bit out of time. I can just check it out to my patron. And it will always say in local circulation here, as it does now. And it stays in local circulation until the moment I send it back. So I check it out to my patron. I check it back in when it's returned. I can, of course, if I go into this, I have a request in Folio for this patron, for this book, and I have a title and holding an item. I can put damage notices in the item. I can. The Bavarian colleagues like to put also the ISO of the supplying library next to the call number, so they know this is the call number of library so-and-so. You can just go there and change it by clicking on the request, and there's the item. The item has been created because it's none of my own items, and I don't want it to have it later. It's suppressed from discovery because I don't want to show it in my discovery system. The ILL number, which comes from the ZFL server, is my item barcode. So I just can use that throughout the circulation process. And of course, here I can add things. Also, if I go back to ILL request, I have here a fee that is being put on the patron's account. We have a fee for every request a patron makes. So not for the fulfillment, but for making a request. There's a fee for 150. We like to, it's like we have reminder fees of 150 for each item, and we also charge 150 for each request. So that's on the patrons. Okay, yeah. That's because I don't have a service point, but there's a fee on the patron's account, and I can, depending on the patron group, I can define the fee. I can say it's either 0. So if my staff makes a request, they can do it for free, or I can say it's 150, or it's 3, or it's whatever. So when local circulation has finished, I'll just set it back. And I'm not sure, should I change my service point so you can see the check-in, check-out? But it's a normal folio check-in, check-out, nothing special. So great. Okay, so I'll just skip that. Maybe we have some more time for questions later. So I can then mark it returned by patron and returned shipped, but just, that's the wrong one. By entering my ILL number. And now it's on its way back to the supplying library. All the time, the ZFL server has updated information on where the item is and what is happening to it. So there's no change here. So it stays unshipped until I receive it back. And then I can check it in. The action of returning it from a patron and sending it off to the supplying library can be done in single steps, or it can be combined. This is just a setting, and we choose to have it combined, so we just have to do this once. But it always says what it does in the respective action button. So, and here we're on the supplying side again. And I just scan the item barcode because it's my own item. I can use the item barcode and just mark it received. And depending on my service point, either send it back to have it checked in and put it in the stacks or on the shelves, or just for smaller libraries, just put it in the shelves myself. Here I also have a request and a loan, because I have loaned this item to a library. And even after sending it back or after checking it in, I still have here my fulfilled. Now it's available again. Okay, so there are still some quirks. We're still working on the circ slips and trying to get around it. There's the ILL supply app and the ILL request app, and there's another app that's called directory, where we have to put all our possible libraries that might request from us or supply to us. And we're still working on that, how they should look, what we should put there. But it's a work in progress, as they say. We're still on it. I think that's ILL with the ZFL server in a nutshell. Are there any questions? Yes, please.
When it comes back to the supplying library, will you always know that you need to go to the ILL request app instead of just going into the check-in app? Like, not all the time does the paper or the slip come back, so how?
Yeah, we talked about this. Normally we have this slip that's in the book. It always says, don't throw this away, either we threaten you with your life or whatever. Which is funny because you can always print it again, but well, never mind.
It's not a German fee for that.
Some libraries do have a fee if you also
Okay.
So if you were to use the check-in app, does it tell you to use it to go to the ILL request, or does it just check it in? Because you're using the barcode in both places.
Yeah, it depends on your setting. Well, on the requesting side, you're talking about as a requesting library or the supplying library. When I get my own thing back, normally it comes in a different channel. Library doesn't bring back its books from ILL on a checkout counter, so they are sent back normally in a parcel. So they don't go to the normal service counter. But I think because the ILL apps talk with the folio check-in and check-out apps via ANSIP. So I think there's communication about, please check that in, she forgot to do it again. But I'd have to check it. I think we did it because there's a lot of potential for mistakes in where
run an ILL department, so oh well, even if it comes back in a courier bag, it still has student records.
The technical University of Munich has, I think, 4 ISILs, that is 4 libraries, and they have, I don't know, countless locations. So we have to somehow get that managed. Yes.
One thing I'm not understanding is I understand ReShare is a standalone application, and what index data has done for you is just put a plugin, so it's this, there's no new functionality, it's now just one login for both applications essentially, or what is the win? I mean, I understand having it seem like one software now, that, which is great. What we talked about is how to improve, but what, is there anything different here for your staff other than one place to log in?
Well, if we go to Folio, we need some place where our ILL requests or supplies get in and out of the system. So we need to work with the ZFL server. We don't want to do it in the ZFL server. It has, obviously, it has a, well, I can work there, but I don't want to, and I need the connection to my local system. We have our
Yeah, but
old systems
my
do
question
have that.
is for- You're only talking about ReShare sharing, so sharing only libraries that are on the platform ReShare.
No,
And you
no,
do this ILL with, right?
the sharing is done in the ZFL server. That's the one that does the routing. And that's all German libraries are on in this, well, they're not on the ZFL server. Many are, but not all. But all requests are being routed there.
Yeah, so
Maybe.
the way I think about it is there's this network in place, ZFL. And so there are libraries that are identifying and sharing resources through ZFL. And what they wanted is to plug Folio into that ecosystem. And so what we did is, Susanna mentioned that we built a SLNP gateway. And so that allowed essentially ReShare to talk a different protocol than ISO 18626, which is the native protocol of ReShare. So now ReShare can plug into the ZFL network. And we also happen to modify some of the apps in both ReShare and maybe a little bit of Folio too, to take advantage of those new workflows and so forth. So that was really, it's there, the UI stuff, there's some of this work, but there's a lot of work underneath on that ZFL gateway. So there's a lot of translations of protocols and there's different workflows that are standards in ZFL that we had to take into account.
Thank you. Yes.
One question about settings for the logic, the ILL library partner that I supply to, is this a user or is this an organization? How do I handle this?
As far as we understand it, all libraries have to have a user account and an entry in the directory. So, but we're still working on both the translation for the German version and the documentation as well. So.
And is there a workflow for requests for an extending long period? How do you handle this? If you supply to a book to another library and the long period ends and you get a request for extended.
Not yet, no. I think we have, we're planning on more functionality that index data will probably finally do for us. So, or we didn't think about it in the first round, and yeah, that's probably going into the second batch.
But it will happen, so.
Yeah, of course. Oh, there's a lot of things that can happen now.
Yes, even reminders.
Yeah, we plan to send reminders.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That the title goes into the receiving library inventory at the moment, and the ZFL server and with all the information line library. So it needs for sure check out the item, the other library.
Yeah.
The inventory.
Yeah.
Inventory storage and yes, it is sent there at the moment when the receiving library
gets the information from the ZFL server, or how, when is the time you're going to inventory storage? And the other question, is it deleted automatically out of the leaving libraries inventory after checking it and giving it back to the
The item and the respective title are created at the moment when I receive.
I receive it.
Yes, when
okay.
Yes, when I do the receiving.
Okay.
And first we planned on deleting the item. Afterwards, we might do a soft delete because we don't want to lose all the information that's in it. At the moment, we still keep it, but we might do a soft delete. So we still have the circulation logs and things like that. We don't want to lose that.
I was curious because of this nice conversation about the fines going back to the states. Like, do you have an obligation to report like on activity to the state, like saying, you know, like here is like interlied loan in this state. That's like the knowledge sharing in this state because it cultivates better culture or something like that. And I don't know beyond fines, which makes sense, I guess, to some people, and getting back to, you know, like you said, but are they asking you to provide information about successful systems like that at all, or it doesn't matter?
No, I don't think so. But it's an obligation for libraries to do that. So it's expected from libraries. Not it's not something that we want to do and have to justify. So.
But there is a law that we have to do interlibrary loan.
Yes.
Isn't there
Well,
in the EBS?
Yeah, we have this national statistic where we have to
Like
report.
you don't have to do the statistics. No, it's not official.
But the special thing about interlibrary loan in Germany is that we have 5 networks, and you can do interlibrary loan between the networks.
Yes.
So this is because we have nationwide interlibrary loan, but it's all not under federal government, but under state government. So we have.
It doesn't matter which library system you're using. So the GBB is using hebis, BVB is using Sunrise,
CBS.
Everything.
We have those with. Yes.
Programs are part of the GBB, part of the BVB, so and it doesn't matter where you are, you can always do it.
And for the user, it's very easy to place.
Yes.
You just say, I need this book, and then you will get it from somewhere. All the stuff that we do. Yeah.
That's enough of a suggestion for.
Yeah, 2 euros. It always has been was 1 D-mark and maybe or the pink. Before the internet.
And the thing is, we did this in paper before, since 1960s. There was this national list that was invented, and they didn't.
After the war, because the libraries didn't have enough money to buy all the necessary books. That's where it stems from.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But I think we should wrap it up. Well, we've run out of time. Thank you and have a nice lunch.